Test, 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 test. All right, everybody. I am so thrilled to be here. My name is Erin Jackson, and I am with Stand Up Alaska. And we came all the way to D.C. to tell our leaders that we need to fully fund our government. I will make some short remarks later, but let's get started with the program. I would like to introduce Representatives Schakowsky, Bush, and Jayapal. Representative Schakowsky believes the number one priority in this Congress, is to create jobs and restore a vibrant middle class. She has introduced the Patriot Corporations of America Act to reward companies that hire American workers and to eliminate tax incentives to businesses for sending jobs overseas. She introduced the Fairness in Taxation Act to create higher tax brackets for millionaires. Thank you. And for billionaires. Actually, we should have said that first. You want to come up and give some words? Awesome.
Thank you. Let me just say to all the advocates who are here, I've been a long-time organizer like you are, and it is so important that you are out here today to speak on behalf of the American people, because unfortunately, we have a majority in the House of Representatives who doesn't give a darn about the American people. And what we are seeing is the least effective Congress that has been since the Great Depression. They were able to pass 27 bills last year. The Democrats were able to pass over 360 bills when we were in charge. And what we see are provisions that they offer that actually harm people. I wanted to talk about two of those today. One is they want to establish a fiscal commission. And what they mean by that is what they want to do is set up a commission that we think is going to do harm to the programs that you care about. Things like Social Security and Medicare. Now, 10 years ago, well, in 2010 actually, was part of the Simpson-Bowles Commission. And the idea was that you would have this special elite group that would come up with a proposal. And the proposal that they tried to do was exactly what I said, to reduce Social Security because it costs too much, they say, for the American people. Can you imagine the most popular and important program that we have? And now that's what they're trying to push. Understand that the kind of programs that they are in favor of do harm, not good for the American people. So I want to talk about the Fiscal Commission and how we have to oppose that. We have enough help in the Congress of the United States to come up with ideas. We don't need to have an elite commission that is going to do harm. The other has to do with the poison pills that they want to offer right now. I am the proud grandmother of a trans grandson. One of the poison pills that they want to offer to an appropriations bill would be to say that the Congress would eliminate any kind of health care for trans individuals. They want to stop women in the military from being able to travel. That's one of their poison pills. Why? Because they don't want women to be able to travel to do things like maybe have an abortion or any kind of health care. They are offering poison pills right now. You're going to hear about them at their rally on Friday, to go after women in colleges so that they can't get the real reproductive care that they need. One after another, there are about 400 poison pills that have been that they want to do. Our answer is that we have to fight back. every step of the way. And I like to say to groups like this, when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Have to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Schakowsky. Every time I come to D.C., I see you at one of these events. You're amazing. You're steadfast. And we are honored to work with you. Thank you. Thank you. And we believe in you. So next up, we have Congresswoman Cori Bush. Cori has lived the struggles of regular everyday people endure. From the impact of skyrocketing housing costs to the payday lending to systematic racism and policing. She's lived the ways injustice in our nation holds back people in St. Louis and across America. In just her first year in Congress, amazing, Congresswoman Cori has changed the debate in Congress by introducing major pieces of legislation like the Green New Deal for cities and the People's Response Act, and led a campaign on the steps of the U.S. Capitol to prevent people from being evicted during the pandemic. That was epic. Come on up here. Woo!
Thank you. And good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for that introduction. And I want to start by thanking the Center for Popular Democracy, Social Security Works, and the Coalition for Human Needs and the Fair Immigration Reform Movement for convening us today in opposition to cuts to life-saving programs. Thank you. To our life-saving programs such as SNAP and WIC and TANF and more. I want to also thank my colleagues, so to Rep. Schakowsky and Rep. Jayapal, and to any others that will be coming out for being here to support and to stand up. Let me start by asking some basic questions. Why is it that our government always has money for war?
Yep.
But when it comes to fully funding life-saving social programs that feed, that clothe, that house people, there isn't a single extra penny to be found. Why is it that year after year our government can easily increase our already bloated defense budget, and yet there is always the looming threat of budget cuts to life-saving social programs? Coming off of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, I think it is only fair to quote his words. A nation that continues year after year to spend more money on military defense than on programs of social uplift is approaching spiritual death. It's our money. And our government needs to get its priorities straight. MAGA Republicans are trying hard to gut these vital programs, yet Congress seems to be more focused on funding the war and the deportation machine than stopping devastating cuts that would impact millions of families across our country, particularly Black and brown families. These economic social programs further address racial and gender inequities. For example, when we look at the maternal and infant mortality rates, which disproportionately impacts Black women and children and brown folks, programs like WIC are life-saving. And when I call SNAP and WIC and TANF and other programs life-saving, that's exactly what I mean. It's not an exaggeration. These programs truly save lives. I know. I relied on several throughout my life. As a single parent in between jobs, I relied on food stamps to feed my family. As a new mom of 2 babies living in a low-income household, I relied on WIC to get formula for my babies. These programs were critical to my and my children's survival. At the same time, while I was grateful for these programs, they weren't enough. Right? When I had my 2 babies and I was on WIC, the funds I received will only cover 2 weeks out of the month. And while I was grateful for those 2 weeks, knowing that my babies, would be fed, it was those last 2 weeks of the month that would keep me up at night. Yes, it was. I would constantly wonder how I would get the money to buy the formula to feed my babies and to keep them healthy and alive. There were other points in my life when I needed assistance that these programs could have provided, but I didn't qualify or meet the low-income threshold. I know from personal experience that we don't just need to protect these programs. We need to bolster them. We need to expand them. When you look at the soaring rent, you look at stagnant wages and high grocery prices, skyrocketing utilities, and the gender pay gap, the people of this country need and deserve our help. And frankly, as the wealthiest country in the world, we are perfectly able to provide it. And with that, I would like to end with how I started by again quoting Dr. King. He said that America, the richest and most powerful nation in the world, can well lead the way in this revolution of values. Thank you to everyone again for coming out, and thank you for your work for a more equitable future. Thank you.
You're so amazing. Another shero. I feel like I'm living the dream right here. So another shero. Oh my goodness. Okay, so in Congress, Representative Jayapal has been a leader on immigration, including fighting the Trump administration's inhumane policies of separating children from their parents and crafting legislation to create a fair and humane immigration system. She has also authored other landmark pieces of progressive legislation, including the ultra-millionaire tax the rich. I won't finish. Okay. Dignity for Detained Immigrants Act and the Housing is a Human Right Act. Oh, thank you so much. And the National Domestic Workers Bill of Rights. Truly an American shero. Come on up.
Thank you so much, Erin, and thank you to my colleagues in the struggle, Representative Schakowsky and Representative Bush. One thing all three of us have in common with all of you is we were all organizers before coming to Congress. So this is the inside and outside organizing movement working together for the American people. I'm also proud to be the chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Yes, we have 103 members strong, and we are so grateful to our outside movement partners, including the Center for Popular Democracy, including Social Security Works, the Coalition on Human Needs, and the Firm Network, which I was a proud member of when I was an activist, for standing up for our values to stop poverty and hunger in the richest country in the world.
That's right.
Because the existence of poverty and hunger are not because of personal failings. They are because of bad policy choices, and we can reverse that today.
Yes.
WIC, TANF, and SNAP are programs that reverse those bad policy choices. Providing nutritious food to low-income women and children, making sure that pregnant moms and babies have the support they need to have a good start in life are not only the morally right things to do, it is also the best way to ensure self-sufficiency and full contribution of every single person for the long term. In 2022, just imagine this, WIC alone served about 6.3 million women and children per month, including 39% of all infants in the United States. But as the Republican Party continues to kick the can on passing a budget, it's estimated that without additional funding of this program, 2 million children and pregnant and postpartum adults could be turned away. And what we say to that is shame. Shame.
We're the pro-life party.
That's right. We are the pro-life party because at the end of the day, this devastating cut, and you know this just as well as I do, would fall disproportionately on black and brown families. Now, this week, we're about to pass a third short-term extension on funding the government and funding programs like these. Republicans have been completely unable to govern. They've been fighting amongst themselves. They've been controlled by a MAGA extreme right that can't even pass their own extreme, unworkable bills in their own caucus. They are putting out bills that cut aid to needy families while they fund tax cuts for the richest. We've always got money for tax cuts for the richest, but never for people that really need our help. They're pushing for bills that hold Ukraine aid hostage, for cruel changes that would gut our asylum system. They are putting forward bills that increase defense spending that benefits a for-profit military industrial complex of defense contractors while they cut this funding for education and healthcare and workers. It ain't right. And I was just visiting a food bank in my district in Seattle, and they told me that the levels of need today match the worst times of the pandemic. In another part of my district, the food bank there told me that 1 in 3 families now relies on the food from the food bank. Lines are stretching around the block, and what are these extreme MAGA Republicans focused on? Impeachments, censures, and tax cuts for the rich, and draconian, xenophobic border policies that will not do anything to actually reform our immigration system.
Not a damn thing.
Now, make no mistake, the Republican Party is still controlled by a former president who has 91 felony counts against him and tried to topple our democracy. For Democrats, we have to stand strong for our values and our people. We cannot be pulled to the right. We need to stand up and fight for low-income women and children who desperately need and deserve our support, for immigrants who seek shelter from war and poverty, for poor families right here in our country who deserve a good start to life. I want to thank you all for fighting the big fight, because I know it's tough on the front lines. And I know it's hard because you're dealing with it every single day, and it's a lot of people in despair. And I know that good organizing is about taking struggle and turning it into the power of people to make a change. And none of this would be possible without you. So thank you for bringing the stories of low-income women and children who just need a hand up in a difficult time, for reminding us yet again that hunger and poverty are just bad policy choices, and for leading a movement that can take back our country and replace cruelty with compassion, surviving with thriving, and scarcity and fear with generosity and with love. I am so proud to be a part of this movement, and we will fight for you every single day. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, I love these women. These women are going to change our future. It's cold, so we're going to keep it moving. Okay, we have confirmed speakers, confirmed partners that are speaking with us. We have Linda. Okay, I'm going to slaughter your last name. Banish from Social Security Works. Come on up.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me here today. Talk a little more about one of the poison pills that Republicans are trying to force into budget negotiations. They call it a fiscal commission to hide what it really is, a death panel designed to slash Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and other vital benefits behind closed doors. Those aren't just my words. That's what the White House has called it. Republicans say that this commission is necessary because of the debt, and what they never mention, Social Security doesn't contribute a single penny to the debt.
That's right.
The driver of the debt is the giant tax handouts that Republicans keep giving to billionaires. Those same billionaires are also dodging paying their fair share into Social Security. They only have to pay in on their first $168,000 of income, and not at all on their unearned investment income. If we make billionaires pay in all year long on all of their income, we can afford to keep Social Security strong for decades to come and expand benefits. No commission needed. I want to thank the 116 House Democrats who have already come out against the commission. Every single Democrat should join them, and Democratic leadership should make it clear that a commission is 110% off the table. Social Security is not a negotiating chip. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Words to live by, that's for sure. Next up, we have Deborah Weinstein from the Coalition on Human Needs.
Hello, everyone. It's cold, and it's just that much more reason to thank you for what you do. You are the essential part of our advocacy. The Coalition on Human Needs is very proud to be part of this effort with Center for Popular Democracy and Social Security Works, other wonderful advocates. We need you. Your signs that say families need WIC, SNAP, TANF, that say no more racist border policies, that say, Congress, we are watching. Thank you, I was looking for that sign. That is what we have to have. And what you have to say is not numbers, but people. This is all about people. This is all about 2 million mothers and babies and toddlers who might be turned away from the WIC program if Congress doesn't do its job. It's about people who might not get the housing help they need if Congress doesn't do its job. We hear about people, record numbers of people who are owing money for their heat and their cooling. Not too much cooling right now, but a lot of heat. And they need help, and they could be turned away if Congress doesn't do its job. You are the ones who are going to help insist, demand that Congress stop futzing around, stop making political play pals, and stalling with stopgap measures instead of passing the bills that we need. It's cold, so I'm not going to say anything more except thank you. You are doing the necessary work that will get the funding we need to help our people.
Thank you so much, Deborah. That was amazing. I'm going to keep it moving. I know it's cold. Okay, we have a couple of affiliates of CPD that are here to share their stories. First up is Dennis Telemakis. I messed it up. Dennis from CASA. Come on up. Woo!
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me here. Se puede. Se puede. My name is Dennis Telemakis. I'm from CASA, from Cameroon. I live in Maryland after fleeing away from my country for the past 6 months. I have applied for asylum already, and I am waiting to appear in court to defend myself for my case. The million of question right now is, if you take away asylum, what becomes of people whose lives are in danger, like myself? Congress, it's human right to seek asylum and to be granted asylum. Please do not criminalize asylum seekers by taking funds from asylum programs and deport us into our debt. Please do not criminalize asylum. I do not want to die. Do not criminalize asylum. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Jaden Huerta. Come on up. Jaden, where are you at? Jaden, come on up.
Hello, everyone. So growing up, I was always the sick kid. I always had something going on, and it would be seeing neurologists, cardiologists, physical therapists. Every week there was something different that I had to go through. And truly, it was a lot. However, because of programs like Medicaid and Medicare, I survived. I got treated, and I was able to attend school again. I was able to get back on my feet. Because of these programs, I was able to have a life. Without this vital program, I know I wouldn't have been able to afford even diagnostic tests, much less the treatments themselves. It is truly life-saving, and I know without it, I would not be where I am today. So I please ask that we continue investing in these programs and, help people out.
I love these brave affiliates. We're going to go ahead and bring some more up here. And can I just say, who in this audience is conservative? No? I am. You know why? I want to conserve families. I want to conserve the environment. I want to conserve our rights. I want to conserve the rights to my body. I'm the true conservative. I believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I believe in people being able to be their best selves. I believe in constructing our democracy instead of destroying other countries with our bullets and our guns. I'm the conservative. Thank you very much. I am right here, right now. I am taking back patriotism from the MAGA crowd. I might not wear flags emblazoned on everything that I have, but I am damn well more of a patriot than the people that stormed that Capitol. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. I walked through that Capitol today, and I'm like, how did they say this was a tourist visit? Are you kidding me right now? Anyway, sorry. Sorry, I had to get that. That's right. It's our house. Whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Damn right. Okay, I'm going to bring up some more affiliates. We have Yemi Benitez from Make the Road. Yemi, you want to come on up?
Hola, mi nombre es Jimmy Benítez, un gusto estar con todos ustedes acá. Gracias por el sacrificio que han hecho de venir en este día que está un poco frío, pero estos sacrificios valen mucho la pena porque es una lucha de de la sociedad, de nosotros como inmigrantes. Soy miembro de Make the Road, New York. Estuve detenido en la cárcel del condado de Hudson desde noviembre del 2019 hasta marzo del 2020. Los más de 4 meses que pasé detenido bajo custodia de ICE fueron algunos de los más difíciles momentos de mi vida como detenido inmigrante y solicitante de asilo. Me aterrorizan las propuestas antiinmigrantes como las deportaciones aceleradas en todo el país, cambios en el proceso de asilo y hacen aún más difícil las entrevistas por temor razonables que actualmente se están discutiendo como parte de las negociaciones presupuestarias. Es vergonzoso que programas esenciales como el WIC y Head Start están en la tabla de cortar, mientras que el Departamento de Seguridad Nacional y ICE obtiene aumentos presupuestarios para criminalizar, detener y deportar aún más a los inmigrantes. Es por eso que estamos aquí todos, para implorar al senador Schumer y a otros funcionarios electos que voten a cualquier política que perjudique a nuestras comunidades. Mientras estuve detenido durante la pandemia, varios miembros del personal murieron en Hudson y muchas personas se enfermaron. Apenas teníamos artículos de limpieza básicos, los baños estaban obstruidos regularmente y temíamos por nuestras vidas. Entonces iniciamos una huelga de hambre, la inicié con otros compañeros estuve detenido y fue que para poder obtener todos los insumos básicos que necesitábamos los detenidos. Y creo que las luchas se inician desde un punto que nos sentimos vulnerables y creo que esa huelga de hambre para mí fue lo más importante, donde yo empecé a organizarme y a organizar con las organizaciones después que salí de detención. Eso para mí fue muy importante y valioso porque aprendí y sigo aprendiendo que las luchas sociales se ganan organizando y construyendo los métodos de justicia. También llevamos 4 años de pandemia y los centros de detención aún enfrentan estas terribles condiciones. y ICE aún continúa violando sus propias políticas de detención y deportación de personas porque seguimos canalizando millones de dólares a estas agencias cuando tenemos una oportunidad real de invertir ese dinero en nuestras comunidades inmigrantes. Para mí está claro que los inmigrantes no somos peones políticos. Merecemos prosperar y experimentar una vida sana y plena sin temor que nuestros niños y niñas jóvenes y familias pierdan el acceso a servicios cruciales. Debido a la incapacidad del Congreso que tienen para avanzar en los proyectos de ley de asignaciones a los diferentes programas de ayudas, el Congreso debe recordar que este es un año electoral y no olvidar cómo trataron a la comunidad inmigrante. Mientras nosotros tenemos el poder de lograr cambios y así tenemos el poder de expulsar a los congresistas o representantes electos, y el poder está en la comunidad, está en la sociedad, está en organizarnos y alzar la voz para que tengamos justicia y dignidad, respeto a nuestras comunidades inmigrantes y como seres humanos merecemos tanto en este país porque somos los que levantamos la economía. Cuando este país se cae, los inmigrantes somos los que estamos presentes para poder trabajar, construir, para que este país siga creciendo. Muchísimas gracias, les agradezco a todos por venir y estar aquí. Vamos a continuar en la lucha las veces que sea necesario. Gracias.
¡Se puede! Hi, everyone. I'm just going to translate Jimmy's testimony very briefly. I'm Luba, organizer with Make the Road New York. So Jimmy said, my name is Jimmy Benitez Lopez, and I'm a member of Make the Road New York. I was detained at Hudson County Jail from November 2019 through March 2020. The more than 4 months that I spent in ICE custody were some of the most difficult of my life. As a former detainee and immigrant, I am terrified of the anti-immigrant proposals such as expedited removal across the country, changes to the asylum process, and reasonable fear interview that are currently being discussed as part of the budget negotiations. It is shameful that essential programs such as WIC and Head Start are on the chopping board while DHS and ICE are getting budget increases to further criminalize, detain, and deport immigrants. That is why I'm here today to implore Senator Schumer and other elected officials to vote no on any policies that will harm our communities. While I was detained during the pandemic, several staff died at Hudson and many people were sick. We barely had any basic cleaning supplies and we felt scared for our lives. So we started a hunger strike to demand our freedom, or at minimum to get basic supplies to take care of ourselves. We're 4 years into the pandemic and detention centers still face these terrible conditions, and ICE still continues to violate their own policies on detaining and deporting individuals. Why do we continue to funnel millions of dollars to these rogue agencies when we have a real chance to invest that money back into our communities? It is clear to me that immigrants are not political pawns. We deserve to thrive and experience healthy and fulfilling lives without fearing that our children and families will lose access to crucial services because of Congress's inability to move the appropriation bills forward. Congress, you must remember that this is an election year, and we will not forget how you treated the immigrant community. My people, we hold the power to make change, and we will vote electeds out who do not support our Black, Brown, LGBTQ, and immigrant communities. Thank you.
So funny, because you know who else has an immigrant mother? Donald Trump. His mom's from Germany. Funny, ain't it? Anyway, I would next like to introduce Juliana Paz from CUF.
Okay. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Juliana Paz, soy parte de CUF y también miembro de las Doñas. Vengo a representar vengo a representar a muchos, la verdad. Principalmente a las comunidades negras, morenas, latinas y demás, porque todos somos uno, siento. Sabemos de la clara postura de CUF contra los compromisos presupuestarios que respaldan políticas fronterizas punitivas y colocan los presupuestos republicanos en el contexto más amplio de un asalto prolongado a las familias. Los posibles recortes a programas sociales esenciales y los peligros asociados con la solicitud de financiación del presidente Biden. CUF insta a pedir al Congreso que luchen contra estos recortes y políticas fronterizas peligrosas y enfatizando la responsabilidad moral de priorizar la seguridad y salud sobre las ganancias y la propiedad después de la pandemia global. Gracias, compañeros, por estar acá, por darme la seguridad de levantar mi voz y de levantar a muchos que aún no se atreven. Gracias por su liderazgo día a día. Gracias.
I'm just gonna translate. Juliana Paz, she's a CUF member and a member of Las Doñas Academy. CUF is in Brooklyn and Queens, representing over 15,000 members, primarily Black, brown, and immigrant New Yorkers. We know CUF's clear stance against border compromises that support punitive border policies and places Republican budgets in the broader context of a prolonged assault on families. Compromises, such as potential cuts to essential social programs and the dangers associated with President Biden's funding requests. CUF urges Congress to fight against these cuts and dangerous border policies, emphasizing the moral responsibility to prioritize safety and health over profits and property in the aftermath of the global pandemic. Thank you.
Okay, keeping the program moving. Last but definitely not least of the affiliate folks from Ohio Organizing Collaborative, I would like to introduce Bishop Christian Omar Medina. Oh, there we are.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes a todos. We are gathered here today in this very cold day because, in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who we just celebrated, in his words, he said, there is a time when silence is betrayal. And if we stay silent in critical times such as this, we are betraying all of the families, the thousands and millions of families who will be affected if proposed budget cuts go through. We have a moral responsibility to safeguard the livelihoods of these families. Because for many, when they look at this budget, they may look at line items. But we actually work day in and day out with actual individuals, human beings, who are not just line items, they are not numbers, they are lives who are struggling to survive each day. People like Tatiana, a single mother who I've had the privilege to work with, who is a single mother of 5. Her husband abandoned the family, left her with 5 kids. If it wasn't because of these crucial programs such as TANF, WIC, Head Start, and others, she would not have been able to raise those children and accomplish what she has accomplished. Despite all of the things that she was struggling with, she went to college, she became a professional, she's working at a hospital, and with the income that she's making now, she's sustaining all 5 of her kids. But it was programs such as the ones that we're fighting for that made it possible for that single mother to make it to the other side. So therefore, today, we are gathered here to remind everyone that we will not go quietly into the night. We will oppose any budget cuts that go under the Responsible Fiscal Act. And if it's not us, who? And if it's not now, when? Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Woo! Okay. Okay, so one more affiliate. I apologize. I did not mean to skip anybody. But Jesus Moreno?
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Jesús Moreno, soy un líder con Unidos Minnesota y somos un miembro de la Red Firm.
Good afternoon, my name is Jesus Moreno. I'm a leader with Unidos Minnesota and we're a member representing the Firm Network.
Soy uno de los más de 12 millones de trabajadores esenciales sin estatus que mantuvimos a flote los sistemas de alimentos, la manufactura, las industrias de servicios para que los estadounidenses pudieran resguardarse en casa durante la pandemia de COVID-19.
I'm one of the over 12 million essential workers without status that kept the food systems, manufacturing, and service industries afloat so that Americans could shelter at home during the COVID-19 pandemic.
El impacto total del sector alimentario e industrial se valora en 7.43 trillones de dólares. Nuestra valentía mantuvo en funcionamiento este país y su poderosa economía.
The total impact of the food and industry sector is valued at $7.43 trillion. Our courage kept this country and its powerful economy running.
Aunque estuvimos considerados esenciales en tiempos de crisis, algunos políticos hoy olvidan nuestros valores humanos y nuestras contribuciones, negociando con nuestras vidas sin consideración.
So while we were deemed essential during times of crisis, today some politicians forget our human worth and our contributions to bargain with our lives without regard.
Y escuchamos que estos políticos quieren expandir la detención de inmigrantes y aumentar los arrestos, causando la separación de nuestras familias, debilitando la protección otorgadas a través del asilo y eliminando la libertad condicional de inmigración.
We hear that these politicians want to expand detention and enforcement, separate our families, gut the protections granted through asylum, and throw away our immigration parole.
Actualmente, el presidente Biden y el Congreso de Estados Unidos están negociando nuestra humanidad, los derechos de los seres humanos y las protecciones de inmigrantes y refugiados en este país.
Currently, President Biden and the U.S. Congress are negotiating our humanity, the rights of human beings, and protections of immigrants and refugees in this country.
Nuestros trabajadores esenciales, inmigrantes y refugiados son más valientes de lo que ustedes se imaginan.
Our immigrant and refugee essential workers are brave beyond measure.
Necesitamos que el presidente Biden y el Congreso igualen nuestra valentía, la valentía que demostramos cuando este país más nos necesitaba. Nos pusimos al frente por este país y ahora necesitamos que el presidente Biden y el Congreso nos pongan al frente. Cumplan su compromiso y palabra, protegiendo nuestros derechos y nuestra integridad.
We need President Biden and Congress to match our courage, the courage that we demonstrated when this country needed us the most. We showed up for this country, and now we need President Biden and Congress to be the line of protection and defense and deliver his commitment and honor their word by protecting our rights and our integrity.
Presidente Biden y Congreso, brinden alivio, brinden recursos y cumplan la promesa de este país.
President Biden and members of Congress, bring relief, bring resources, and make good on the promise of this country.
Fight, fight, fight! Asylum is a human right!
Fight, fight, fight! Asylum is a human right!
Fight, fight! Asylum is a human right!
Fight, fight, fight! Asylum is a human right!
Fight, fight, fight! Asylum is a human right!
Fight, fight, fight! Asylum is a human right!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias. So, I just want to take this time. I know it's cold, folks, but I'm going to say a few words because I have traveled here from Anchorage, Alaska, and I was on the plane for 10 hours, okay? And so, once again, I'm the executive director of Stand Up Alaska and Alaskans Take a Stand. And I want to say that I think that it's time, as we stand in front of this building, to ask our Congress to stop investing in destruction and start investing in people. I said it is time we shift our focus from investing in destruction to investing in people. That's right. It astounds me that we are once again finding ourselves gathered here, calling upon the folks in the building back there that are supposed to be representatives of the people, and that means all the people, asking them to do what they should do without any push from us. We're asking them to shield the most vulnerable among us and compel the wealthy to finally pay their fair share. The threat of the debt ceiling default being wielded by Republicans to strip our budget of billions for critical programs while inflating an already bloated military budget is ridiculous. This isn't merely about staving off a government shutdown. It's about safeguarding the policies we hold dear, the lifelines that keep our families afloat, from child care to WIC, TANF to home energy assistance, job training, education, and housing protections that aren't enough as they are. Are you seriously talking about reducing the social safety net more? No, we are not here for it. These are not mere line items on a budget sheet, but vital social programs that touch the lives of millions. We must make them vow to protect the most vulnerable in our communities, including undocumented immigrants and asylum seekers. Congress must uphold the rights of asylum seekers, a point we championed during the Trump presidency and will continue to emphasize now. Any erosion of our asylum policy would be a regression to the dark days of pre-World War II, a time when Jews fleeing the Holocaust were turned away. If Congress is willing to trade the security of asylum seekers for missiles and border funding, it becomes painfully clear that the values and needs of the people are being misunderstood. Was it not Dr. Martin Luther King that said budgets reflect our values? What are we saying with this budget? Absolutely right. We're saying the wrong things to the right people. Tons of billionaires. I don't know how many times I've heard Leonard Leo's name today, but the billionaires can no longer control our country. We must take it back. We cannot allow the far right, racist xenophobes to dictate our immigration policy, putting immigrant communities at risk through severe asylum restriction, mass deportations, and family separations. We call upon Congress to pass appropriation bills that fully fund the government and continue to support workers, families, and our communities. From WIC to Head Start, child care assistant to housing, education to scientific research and infrastructure. These social programs, along with immigrants, are vital for our national growth and prosperity. Democrats must stand firm against any attempts by Republicans to insert poison pills to these bills that will harm and betray women, the LGBTQ plus community, immigrants, and the environment. It is critically important that the president retains the power to parole individuals who need protections into the U.S., such as Ukrainians, Venezuelans, Afghanis, and other vulnerable populations. Democrats need to consider that betraying immigrants, refugees, and millions of families carries no political value whatsoever. Capitulating now, especially during an election year, will only show people that Democrats cannot be counted on to protect them. We need representatives who will stand up for us all. In conclusion, I call upon you, our elected leaders, to make the right choices, to prioritize people over politics, to uphold our shared values, and to protect the most vulnerable among us. Let us invest in our people. Let us stand together, and let's build a brighter future for all of us. Let's stand up for women's rights. Let's stand up for the rights of our children to clean air. Let's stand up for Social Security. Let's stand up for WIC. Let's stand up for TANF. Let's stand up. She just gonna stand up for everything. Let's stand up for us. Let's stand up for our communities. Let's stand up and fight back. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Do we have one more representative to speak? Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. We're going to have Gina from the Ohio Organizing Collaborative speak, and then we will have Rep. Tlaib.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to need that same energy when I run for president, y'all. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this much-needed, crucial gathering that we're having here. My name is Gina Kenny. As Aaron introduced me, I am the advocacy chair member of Building Freedom Ohio, which is under the organization of Ohio Organizing Collaborative. I am from Cleveland, Ohio, which is very much in danger of poverty. We have so many families suffering right now because of these cuts that Congress has brought upon us. We need these necessities as women, the WIC, the food stamps, the child care, and everything else that comes with it. You know, I'm 40 years old, and growing up, my mother, in fact, depended majority of my life on these benefits. If it were not for these benefits, I could probably reassure you that I probably would have ended up in the system because my mom would not have been able to take care of me and my siblings. I myself have 3 children. And I will also let you know that I myself probably wouldn't have been able to tend to my children if it wasn't for these types of benefits. It is very concerning to me that the more and more and more that we come here to DC to fight for our rights, human necessities, they're continuously counting us out. Every move they make, it's always targeted towards us, the poor people. It's never, ever, 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 let's do some budget cutting from the rich people. All the money, the billions of dollars that they sit on, and we're really talking about right now, in 2024, taking from the least vulnerablest people, whether it be these benefits or immigration or anything else. You continuously keep taking from the poor people. Let's be honest, Congress. You work for us. Again, you work for us. Start doing your jobs. Do your jobs. Do your jobs. Do your jobs. Do your jobs. We will not be silenced. We will continuously keep traveling, whether it's from Alaska.
That's right.
Whether it's from New Jersey. Whether it's from Nevada.
We're coming.
Or up north in Cleveland. We'll be back here every single time we have to continuously remind Congress that you work for us.
That's right.
This is our house. Do what the people expect you to do and do what we voted you in to do.
Thank you.
Start protecting your people.
That's right.
Not taxing the rich, continuously cutting from poor people is not working for us. When will it be enough? We are tired of gathering. We are tired of crying. We are tired of begging. We are asking you to please give us our human rights, housing, benefits, all of that. As we've stated, our lives are not negotiable. Everybody with me. Our lives are not negotiable. One more time. Our lives are not negotiable. And with that, I think I've said enough.
Okay, so right now we have a woman that needs little to no introduction. Representative Tlaib. Throughout her time in office, she's focused on helping constituents get through everyday challenges while holding corporate polluters and billionaires accountable for taking advantage of the communities she represents. A bold, transformative leader and public servant, as well as a daughter of Palestinian immigrants. Rep. Tlaib is fighting for families of all backgrounds, especially people who've been left out and marginalized. Rep. Tlaib, oh, it's always so good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. It's always, I hate not being able to look at y'all. Thank you so much for allowing me to share space with all of you today. Thank you for being here, because so many of my residents can't be here. And you speak on their behalf. You occupy this space on their behalf. So thank you on behalf of every single people, again, that benefit from the importance of food assistance programs and so much more. Thank you. I know this much. You know, I grew up in the most beautiful, blackest city in the country, the city of Detroit.
Detroit!
That's right.
All right!
We kind of just tell it like it is.
Yeah, we do.
So I'm going to tell it like it is. Yeah. We know that a budget is a statement of values. You guys know this. So why is it that year after year our government spends billions of dollars on war and destruction? But every year my colleagues and the powerful people in Washington tell me that there is no money for life-saving programs to address hunger and poverty, that the deficit is simply too high, only to turn around and pass yet another, y'all, this is real, record-breaking military budget, giving $886 billion of our tax dollars to fund bombs, weapons, war, and crimes. No questions asked. The need for child care and affordable water for working families in my district is so prevalent. I know the GOP has made it clear that they want to cut funding for Social Security, Medicare, TANF, SNAP, and WIC. I mean, these are life-saving programs for my residents. And I know it's disgraceful. You all know this. We got to continue to speak that truth. Because I know that when it comes to me trying to clean drinking water, trying to make sure that my family stay together because of the lack of, housing and so much more, they seem to, again, to continue to want to invest in death and not life. Millions of low-income families in our communities rely on these programs. You know this. 21 million alone households rely on food assistance program like SNAP each month to just to eat. Over 6 million women, infants, and children depend on WIC. I talk to those mothers all the time to ensure that children receive proper nutrition at a critical stage in their development. I remember my mother, who raised 14 children. I am the eldest. I've been taking care of people all my life, but she depended on programs like WIC. 1 million families composed of 2 million children count on TANF for child care, for pre-K, for child welfare programs, and other forms of basic assistance. These programs are not bargaining chips, and I'm so sick and tired of them doing this to us. We are talking about people's lives and their livelihoods, about health and well-being of their children. I hear them always talking about, birthing children, but as soon as at the time of that birth, they forget about our children. Instead of repeatedly bringing our nation to the brink of a government shutdown over and over again since I've been here for 5 years, or trying to negotiate funding for cruel border policies that are so incredibly dehumanizing for my immigrant neighbors, I want to urge my colleagues, please invest in life, to invest in the lives of the people we represent. The American people and our families deserve better. Thank you all so much again for your incredible courage and for your continued effort. I can't thank you enough. Thank you.
My mom's from Detroit. I just want you to know that. Motown. All right. And thank you for helping bring that city back, for real. We are going to close out, but in closing, I want to reiterate what she said. It is really time to invest in people and stop investing in death. Like, that is really powerful. And our government seems to want to just invest in death. And quite frankly, we're here for the people, right? Because the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. That's right. Thank you very much. We appreciate each and every one of you. Keep up the hard work. This community is what's going to make the difference. We're gonna make them stand up and take notice and realize that this is our country. They're only there temporarily. We're here forever. Worst nightmare. Lord, it's cold. You done? You got some done? I'm cool. I know I have to choose.